This is a 1965 Pontiac GTO 389 WT code, 335 horse, approximately 10,000 miles. It has been in my car for 13 years. It has a standard bore block. All he did was hone it. It was a 40,000 mile engine. He honed it. He put Badger pistons. It's got the stock 067 cam. He's got poly locks on the rocker arms. The only thing this engine will need is for you to put back on what I'm needing to put my numbers matching engine back in, so it can go right into your car and you could use it. The only thing I would do is put a rear main seal in it and maybe replace the valve stem seals while you got the engine out. It's being sold as a long block, but it will have some additional items included. Like intake manifold will be included because it's port matched to the heads. Distributor, it's the correct style distributor. It'll come with the rechrome valve covers. It will come with the oil pan, the push rod cover, the timing chain cover, and water pump. As I said, the only things it won't come with is what I need to put my original engine back in this car. It won't come with the air cleaner, the carburetor. It won't come with the fuel pump or the alternator. I do have a correct Carter AFB that can be rebuilt, and in addition to one of the original style fuel pumps. It can be included with this engine. So when I start this engine up, it will sound like a diesel engine because he built it loose, but once it heats up, it sounds nice and quiet and smooth, which I will demonstrate on this video. I will start the engine now. I think he built the engine loose to help it with running on low octane gas. Like I said, he did not bore the block. So if you want to rebuild this engine to put dished pistons so it'll run on the lower octane gas, that's what I'm doing with my numbers matching engine. You're going to start out with a clean, unbored block. The correct number 77 heads are, he did a 3-angle valve job. And as I said, it's got the stock rocker arms, but it has the poly locks. It's just been a very good engine. If I didn't have my numbers matching engine, I would just stick with this engine. So as you can hear it, it makes some noise like a diesel, but once it heats up, everything gets quiet. And we'll demonstrate by taking this car for a little spin around the block. And by the time we come back from going around the block and we pull back up into this driveway to the garage, you'll hear it. It's quiet like it's supposed to be. So this is a WT code manual transmission engine. My car has a 4-speed transmission. So if you're restoring a 65 GTO with a manual transmission and you need a correct engine, this is ideal for your restoration. A smooth idle. It has this correct 067 cam that these engines had. twin torque. Ideal for street use for your restored car. I've had it in this car for over 13 years. I know the person that built the engine. He had a 65 GTO he bought brand new, and he put a 421 in his GTO, and he kept this engine and he put it in his 57 Pontiac street rod, and then he sold it to me. Oops, started out in third gear.
Oh my God.
Plenty of torque. As I said, you could take this engine, put it in your car as is, like it is in this car. You would not have to rebuild it if you wanted to rebuild it, mainly to lower the compression. It's a really good engine. I've had good luck with it. As I said earlier, when these cars sit with that rope seal, rear main seal, they're gonna leak. If you're gonna put this back in your car, I would highly recommend a new rear main seal, like a neoprene seal. I know that there's also a one-piece rear main seal that I think Butler sells it. And again, I would put a front crank seal in it while you got it out of the car as well, in the timing chain cover. And then it wouldn't hurt maybe to even, if you really wanted to just make sure it's tight, oils, I would put valve stem seals in it too. But you don't, I think you could get away with it if you didn't want to fool with the valve train. But this engine's been a great engine for me in this car since I restored it. Never any trouble. And the only reason why I'm replacing it is I'm rebuilding my numbers matching engine. It's a duplicate to this engine. I'm asking $3,500 for it, which I think is fair considering how much it costs to even buy a core to rebuild one of these, and the cost of rebuilding it, and what additional items I'm including with the long block, like the intake manifold and some other items. So whatever I don't need to put my numbers matching engine, it'll be included in this engine. And I am willing to deliver this engine from a 100-mile radius of Omaha. I can deliver it. And I think that's a fair price, and getting it delivered. And as you can see, as we're driving around, this engine pulls well, does everything you're going to want your car to do, a restored car on the street, as it is in this car. The guy that built this engine had his own machine shop in Omaha, worked for another one, Pontiac guy. Dave Poole is his name, but I doubt you would if you're not from the Omaha area. But he used quality parts. This is an older rebuild, and it doesn't have a bunch of offshore parts like you're going to find today, that are very commonly found today. Back then, everything was not offshore. It's like the Badger pistons. It's a Crane blueprint cam, duplicate 067 cam. He painted the inside of the engine with Gliptal to help the oil roll back down into the pan faster. He also did little things like he tack welded the oil pump pickup to the oil pump. He's just a really good old school machinist that knows what he's doing. And I was real fortunate to come across this engine when I did, when I started. It was even before I started restoring this car. We're almost back to my garage. We just kind of went around the block. It's never gotten hot. It's a very stock engine. So if you're restoring one of these cars like this, correct, this is the perfect engine. And for what I'm asking for this engine, you couldn't even rebuild a core for $3,500. Something that you can put in your car as is, with your carburetor and other ancillary items that you would need on your engine. You're good to go. It will not come with the flywheel. I'm keeping the exhaust manifolds. As I said, the carburetor, the air cleaner, the alternator, the fuel pump. It's essentially a long block with the tinware. The intake manifold, because it was port matched to the heads, I figured it'd be good to keep it that way. About ready to pull it up into my driveway, and I'll pop the hood. It's heated up. I'll pop the hood, and you can hear it, as you can hear right now. Quiet. You hear how it idles out the tailpipes. Pretty smooth and quiet. I'll go open the hood. It's quiet, does not sound like a diesel. Everything's heated up, everything expanded. Said he built it loose. And once it heats up, it runs nice and smooth, no funny sounds. Loaded with torque, low end torque for the street in your restored GTO. Like I said, I would keep this in my car if I didn't have the numbers matching engine. I will deliver within 100 miles of the Omaha area. Price is $3,500, and we can talk about what is included and not included, but I kind of stated that already in the ad. So it'll be posted. Phone number 402-709-6331.